History is tricky, and that's why I love that quote so much that says that until the lion, I'm just paraphrasing now, until the lion can tell the story of the hunt, the story will always glorify the hunter. My name is Bakitefe. Today we're going to be talking about Namina Forna's book, Namina Forna's debut novel actually. Namina Forna is a Sierra Leonean American author, and this is a debut novel, and this novel, The Gilded Ones, will also serve as the first book of the Deathless trilogy, and I'm pretty excited to see what comes in the following books. The second book of the trilogy is coming out in March 2022, and it's called The Merciless Ones. I am not really into this fantasy fiction genre because this book is mostly fantasy fiction. So lovers of fantasy, lovers of young adult, lovers of contemporary fiction, and people have also termed it a feminist fiction as well. So lovers of this kind of books would thoroughly enjoy the Gilded Ones. I When I started reading this book, I did not know what to expect because this was not really my playground. I always lean towards contemporary fiction, something that you should know by now if you're already subscribed to my channel. So if you're not, please do well to subscribe, like, share this video, and then you can also follow me on my social media platforms that will displayed on your screen. So getting into this book, I did not know what to expect. I just started reading it because I wanted to get out of my head. So I said, let me read this Gilded Ones by Namina. And Namina had revealed that the inspiration for this book was because she's a Sierra Leonean. So before her parents migrated from Sierra Leone to a different country, I think I'm believing America, she was in a society that was highly patriarchal. And she was just observing everything, and this was where the inspiration stemmed from, how patriarchal the society was and how the society was just bent on making women behave. So she decided to, and this book came to life, which is actually a very beautiful thing. So this book has this theme or setting or feel of West Africa in it. Even the some words, some names in the book, you just know that it really has a beautiful feel in it. So the book follows Decca's story. Decca is a 16-year-old girl, and all her life, her major aim is to do one thing, and that's just be accepted in society. So there's a ritual that is performed once a girl comes to a certain age, and before then, girls have to be careful so they don't bleed themselves. You have to stay away from knives. You have to do a lot of things just so that, waiting for this day of ritual where the girls are subjected to bleed. So if your blood is red, that's good, and gold is a sign of impurity. Gold is a sign of, or maybe a demon. So Decca is really wary of this day because there's just this thing of what if going through her mind, and this fear or worry did not just stem from anywhere. So her family had, because in this effort society, they once your bloodline, or once someone in your family bled gold or bleeds gold, ha, they'll start looking at you somehow like, okay, who is next in this family? So unfortunately for Deca, someone in her father's family, years and years ago, she didn't even meet the auntie, bled gold. So that kind of already alienated the family. So whenever they go to the temple, because they believe that once you bleed gold, you are a demon, you most likely have said or have been not been good with maybe your prayers, or you have said something blasphemous. Just because in this book, religion plays a very big role, and if for you to be accepted. So her aunties have to do extra. They have to be extra holy in the temple. They have to be extra careful. They cover their face well and all of that. Have to be good women so that nobody, just have to be extra careful. And that's what Decca was doing all her life, being extra careful because they were alienated in the society. First her aunt, this for this reason of her auntie, then her father, who was a soldier, came back home, and he came along with a foreigner. No one knows anyone in her family and if they bled gold in the past. And also, the worst thing is she was a southerner, and okay, they now had a baby girl, and this girl's skin is dark. So a lot of just really double trouble for the little girl. So the girl was born into this space, and she just wants to fit in, because once you bleed, you become accepted in the society. And this ritual, funny enough, is for just women or young girls. So once you can bleed red like a normal human being, then you're accepted, and you can get married and all of that. So she just, and her father had been, she and her father had been alienated for a long time because her mother died. So she just wanted to be accepted in the society, and she will always recite words from the infinite wisdom, which was their, like, their holy book, in, so the god they were serving, or your mom. So Deca would always just and I really found it cute whenever Deca would recite these words, because she really believed in them, because this was what she was told, this was what she was taught, this was what she was expected to be in society, and she was following into the letter. So the book opens with the day of the ritual, and this young girl is worried. You know that kind of chills that you have when maybe you have an exam, and a very important exam to write. Those chills that comes with, okay, I have to do this, or maybe you want to check your result. Okay, I think checking results is more appropriate, because you are really worried. You're having chills, like, what if I fail? What if I fail? Like, what if I just feel now? What will happen? And you try, and you just remember everything you've done in the past. Okay, on that exam day, how you wrote that day. Did you finish? Did you write well? Did you cross your T's, dot your I's? So that was all was in Decca's mind. And she kind of relayed this fear to her father, like, what if? And father was like, she have been a good girl. She said, yes, you know your infinite wisdom. Yes, you have been abiding by these things. She said, yes, okay, don't worry. Everything will be fine. And the ritual started, and Decca bleeds gold. Hey, wahala, trouble. Decca found out that she's actually very strong, and she has superpowers. When she was rescued, because she was sentenced to die. So when she was rescued by this mysterious lady, she called her White Hands. Decca has to go and join girls like that are just like her, to fight for the kingdom, to fight the death shrieks. There this group of people, there these creatures that their screaming could cause you to feel so much pain. They were like an enemy that were attacking the society, so they had to fight these death shrieks. So Decca had to join girls that are just like her, and this was just a learning experience for her. She had to unlearn a lot of things, and a lot of secrets were unveiled to her in the process. I can't wait to see the second book of this trilogy, which is the Merciless Ones. So this book is filled with a lot of themes that are so beautiful. First is religion. We see how much religion plays a big influence in our lives as people, and what we believe in, you know, can actually dictate how we view things, how we react to things, and all of that. So we see Decca, she was taught to abide by the words and the infinite wisdoms, and she was into the letter. And just like a lot of girls in society, they just wanted to be accepted. So we see a heavy role of how religion plays in the society. We see also we see how women can be alienated in society. Really ridiculous laws, very ridiculous laws about how women can lead, or how women can do some certain things. These things are very real. Even though this book is a fantasy book, it's actually teaching us that, okay, there are a particular group of people who are alienated in society, and actually there are laws that are actually backing up this alienation. So that was one very very important theme in this book as well. Then I also love the theme of friendship in this book. The way the girls, the Gilded Ones, the girls were part of the army that Decca had to join. I loved how much they looked out for each other. They were just really like sisters, especially the friendship between Brita and Decca. Britta really loved Decca so much that she was even willing to go as far as laying her life for Decca. She was just there for Decca from the very moment they met each other. She was just a solid friend, and I really love it. I really love that theme of friendship in this book. And questioning the old, the theme of questioning the old, it also ties close to religion, because this book really makes us sit and think And I always say this all the time that, okay, what if everything we know is not really what we know? Like the stories were told about some great man or woman somewhere, and that's really not the truth. History is tricky, and that's why I love that quote so much that says that until the lion, I'm just paraphrasing now, until the lion can tell the story of the hunt, the story will always glorify the hunter. So not you have to tell your story one way or the other, because whoever has the upper hand is who history remembers. That's just the truth. That is it. Because history will always applaud the greats, the people who did some kind of big things. But there were also people that were alienated. There were people that were pushed to the back so that the other people can stand forward. And these are the people that generations to generations would remember. That's how. Questioning the old. Okay, these things make no sense. Why do we have these laws in place? It's when these laws are never benefiting us, and people, however, are very strong, feel very strongly against people questioning the old. I'm like, oh, this is how I've been doing it. This is religion. This is culture. This is our way of life. If something's not benefiting us, because there have been a lot of cultures that we have to throw away, and the earth is still spinning. The earth is still in its place. So if it's not benefiting us, why don't we look into it and allow people ask questions? But you know that questions lead to more questions and leads to some kind of changes, and people do not like changes. I particularly love how Namina Forna had these really diverse characters in her book. Decca was one who was always falling into the later and everything. She just wanted to do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing, apply according to the books. She was that girl. Then we had Brita, who she just wanted to serve in the army, and because we promised that 20 years later they would receive absolution and be able to join the society again, and we all know how that works. But Brita had this dream in her head that she wanted to go back to her family. There were other girls too who wanted this family life, who, yes, they wanted to be married, they didn't want to be some sort of badass fighters or anything. There are girls that were like that. But the most important thing that I think the author is trying to pass across to us is that it's not cool to take away people's choice. It's not cool to lie to people. It's not cool to alienate people. As a society, we have a role to play, that we have to bring everybody along. Don't try to suppress some people just because of control, because most of the things that we put to, especially for women, where women are always, the society always try to put women in check. And I don't see, I'm yet to see the reason why women have to be put in check all the time, because these women are the women are the only ones that are bleeding and that are undergoing spiritual tears. The men are not. So and you know the funny thing that this and maybe it's because of procreation. I do not know, but you know, it's just really funny. I just think that as a society we have a role to play to just do not alienate anyone. Everybody's well equals, and just love each other. That's just the most important thing. Love and respect each other. That's the most important thing. And I thoroughly love this book, as you can tell, and I think I already said that I enjoyed this book, and I look forward to the book two. If you have read this book, please tell me what you think about it. And if you're yet to read this book, I do hope you pick it up, and I do hope you share your thoughts as well. What don't you like about the book? I can't really pinpoint anything that I particularly do not like about this book. I can't really pinpoint anything. There are really some scenes that were cringeworthy when the way the fights were happening. I was like, oh, these girls are just young girls, and that's a trigger warning for you. So tread carefully. And I don't think I'll change anything about this book. I rate it to 5 solid stars because it it really kept me company. I didn't finish this book in one sitting. It took me days to finish this book, not because I was not enjoying it. It's just because I was really enjoying it. I was taking my time to read it. That's just the reason why I took my time to finish the book. Yeah. So 5 solid stars. Before I go, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Do take good care of yourself. Goodbye.